ladies and gentlemen, is this a portal tomb up on Donegal near New Mills? Is it recorded as such, or known, or is there any record of it? Underneath, if you see here, there seems to be a stone underneath and a stone on the left. Why is it like that? I ask the question, and I draw to the attention of people more competent than myself to make a proper judgment, namely archaeologists who are well versed in these matters. It is high up on the hill. It would need further investigation to confirm if my suspicions are accurate or not. In the meantime, I take a few snapshots for the county museum and hope to have further investigations at some time in the future when possible. I'll just snap there now. Did the flash come on at all? Right, a small stone by me McClintic, that this was a small standing stone, Bronze Age, and well, there's not much you can say about it, only I'll take a photograph of it. More we can say about it other than it's the Bronze Age. So I think we can just leave it at that. This is New Mills, first started in the early 1800s by a Mr. Hunter, but eventually they ended up in the hands of Patrick Gallagher. This was all the territory of the Columbian Fathers, and they had mills in existence long before the 18th century. The church, i.e. the Columbian Fathers, had mills here at the river, going back as far as the 12th century, so they were quite advanced even in the 12th century. But new mills means new mills because they were destroyed and rebuilt in the 1800s, and came into the hands of Patrick Gallagher, who gave them then, after his day, came into the Office of Public Works, and a lot of work has been done. They could actually have a craft shop here, which would go very well if they had a craft shop, and tea, coffee, soup and sandwiches, it would add to the place. I don't think there's anything like that here. It's amazing that they don't have our little restaurant, tea, coffee, super sandwiches in here. It would make the place if they had tea, coffee, super sandwiches for everybody. Lots of, I was in a corn mill down in Kerry on my holidays many years ago, and they had a craft shop and a tea, coffee, soup and sandwiches, and it really made the place. And there was only the one mill. It was just a corn mill, and it was a different type outside Tralee, and it would really make the place if they had a small restaurant, tea, coffee, soup and sandwiches, and here, and if they could get somebody to have a craft shop as well. I think we'll go now to the thatched cottage. It was a Scottish cottage. You see over there to the right, there's a Scottish cottage, and we'll travel around. There's also a forge which was part of the complex. There was a shop here and a bar many years ago. When I was a kid, there was a bar, cum shop, grocery shop. It was quite a hive of industry, you might say, in those days. We'll have a little walk round now. This was a forge long ago. It was part of the complex of gallows. Like a lot of forges everywhere now lying about the country, some turned into garages, some actually falling down, but this is the forge belonging to New Mills. Not much you can say about it. It'll be a long time since a horse was shoed here, but that was the way things were. Take an extra snap of it just in case. Forward. Ooh. Hop over the wall and see what we can see in the photograph. I don't think anybody lives here now. That was a Scottish cottage. What can one say about it? That's where most people came out of, is thatched cottages. Now they have 4 and 5 bedroom houses. And even 6 bedroom houses. What can one say? Nobody living there now. All part of the complex of New Mills. There's about roughly 400 thatched cottages throughout Donegal, I am told. What can one say? Another time. The past was a different country. What can one say? Yesterday's dead and gone. The past is a different country, and you can only seem so long ago, and yet it's not so long ago. It's only about 100 years. What can you do but photograph these things, record them? That's about all you can do. Bishop McMahon was a leader of the Catholic Army in 1650. It was along this road the battle took place. It was a military disaster because he took the men down from the hill. He should have held the high ground for a start, but he also let the cavalry go off to Donegal Castle. Why? I don't know. He just was militarily uncomfortable. It was a disaster from a military point of view. He simply got the job for no other reason that the men couldn't agree among themselves who to follow. So here it is. Scara Sholas, Scara Fullers, new mills, the names change, down the generations names change. But along this road was the Battle of Scara Fullers, which was a disaster. 5,000 of an army defeated by 2,500 Cromwellian soldiers. What more can you say about that? What can one say? They should have won the battle. But when you have a lack of proper military leadership, where people who are gathered on the side of a hill near a ring fort and come down to the low ground with no cavalry to protect the flanks. What can one say? Just have to use your imagination. Not much else you could say about it. Is near the standing stone of their cannons, where they were the chieftains of the area from the 12th century. The heyday had reached its peak by the 12th century. After that came the O'Donnells. Through these trees and up over there where that fence is the standing stone of their cannons. It's too late in the afternoon now to go through there. The light is falling, but it's not a very big stone and not a very impressive stone, but that was the hillside of their cannon where the standing stone of their cannons is. And by 11:11 they really had spent force. They had attacked Lochderg Monastery. After that, they didn't survive too long. The O'Donnells were on the sway at that time. I don't think there's any O'Cannons about Letterkenny now, at least I don't know any. When I was a kid, my mother mentioned of a man named O'Cannon. There was a county manager in Monaghan named O'Cannon. That's all I know. I'm told that there are O'Cannons out in America. So I don't know if they are around Letterkenny. But that's about the height of it. There was no civil and religious liberties. They would murder you and burn you at the stake and everything, you know. It's amazing, you see, how people, they were right, you were wrong, you were a heretic, you were Catholic, you were Protestant, you wouldn't embrace the true faith. Sometimes since I've been up here, I've been looking. These are archaeological sites. I don't think any work has been done on them. Once a history, this here, don't know, any work has been done. What we really need is for the county council to do an archaeological dig there to confirm really what it is. I don't want to go in now with the cows in the field, but it might be a bull in the field, and if there's young cattle, young cows in the field, mothers wouldn't want anybody going into the field. I mean, cows would go for you very quick, if I'm told, if there's a young cow in the field with them, with a young calf, they would be very protective. So I'll not bother now going in with the cattle there. But that bush down there, it's supposed to be a sooth to read down there. The truth is, it has all changed because it has been turned into parkland. There's a lot of houses up here. A lot of money spent on it. Place is fenced off. It's hardly know the place now with all the changes. And whereas there are archaeological sites in the area, I've been trying to get to the ring fort of the O'Cannons, but it's fenced off. There are trees in the area. It makes it impossible to know where I am, quite honestly. All of this was the hillside of the O'Cannons. Letterkenny, Letterkenny, hillside of the O'Cannons. Here it is, as it. They would have been masters of this, of all they surveyed in this area. But I'm going to have more difficulty finding it than I thought I would. It just shows you what happens when people start building houses in an area and start laying out parklands. So all we can do is just walk and go back to the car and go to Cornwall Graveyard. I think that's all we can do now at this moment in time. This is Cornwall Graveyard, Congal. Congal as mentioned in the Four Masters, because Cornwall Graveyard is mentioned in the Four Masters. Here we have, I'm looking for the well. Yes, here it is. This is Cornwall Well. Cornwall Graveyard, or Congal, goes back to the 6th century, but this is the new part of the graveyard. It was well endowed with a well and a good supply of water from the river. And we'll go to the old part. St. Fiacre was the founder of this monastery. He is the patron saint of Letterkenny. St. Fiacre, I read somewhere where he went off to France, went and founded a hospital in Paris. But one very famous person who's buried here is Godfrey O'Donnell, one of the chieftains of the O'Donnell. These stones witnessed two great battles, one in the 12th century. The O'Neills were driven across the River Swilly and were defeated. But Godfrey O'Donnell himself died and was buried here in the monastery. The truth is, he had been in a previous battle and hadn't recovered sufficiently from his wounds, and the exertion was too great for him because he was leading his men into battle carried on his bed or stretcher, and the exertion was too much for him, so he carried into battle and drove the O'Neills across the River Swilly. So these stones, if they could speak, but stones being stones are silence. They hold their secrets. Nobody ever gets the secrets out of the stones. But they have witnessed something. Again in 1650 they would have witnessed the Battle of Scarrifullis, these same stones. It's impossible. I wonder if that is. I think that might be Godfrey O'Donnell's stone. I'll not give it to you for gospel, because I saw it in a book somewhere. Seemingly the graveyards were cleaned up and they put these stones up on top like that. They were all moved to tidy up the graves and make room for new people coming into the graveyard. Because people used to know when Godfrey O'Donnell was buried. My grandfather arrested a man, Johnny Coombs, for reading a paper over Godfrey O'Donnell. And he got 6 months in jail for it. So my grandfather, being an RIC, he did his duty when he was sent out to arrest him. But they got arrested. I think that is the stone there, but I'm not using the gospel. Keep an open mind about that stone. So it's well supplied here with water. So just imagine the whole place, if you can cast your mind back and use your imagination, what it would have been like here. There would have been a sick bay. There would have been a scriptorium. All that is completely gone, but if only the stones could speak. Next to nothing is really left, only the stones. An ecclesiastical site. Said to be the burial slab of Godfrey O'Donnell, who died, I didn't know that, 1258. So Godfrey O'Donnell died in 1258. So somewhere here he is buried. Where his grave is, I don't know. But that's the way. What more is there to be said other than that we leave it as all you can do? Just a minute would have been a hive of activity, you might say, in its heyday. Can you just imagine some monks nursing the sick, some monks writing the Gospels, teaching just hear the bell? Can you hear the bell? The bell from the river. It means he'll die within 7 years. Well, take that with a pinch of salt. The story is here at Killydon Abbey that there is the bell of the abbey is in the river, and if you hear the bell, you will be dead within 7 years. This is Killydon Abbey. It was a Franciscan abbey. Erected by the O'Toners. I know O'Toner know that. In 1559, Galva O'Donnell and his wife were captured here and carried off into captivity by Shane the Proud O'Neill. That's right. Building and lands were granted at the plantation in 1603 to Captain Basil Brooke, no doubt a descendant of Brookboroughs of Fermanagh. My memory of what's this? This project is funded by the Irish government under the National Development Plan. Oh, so they're doing some work on it. I didn't know that. All I can say with this here now is completely covered with ivy. What can you call it but a majestic ruins? If this was done up, could be done up in 10 years, it could be cost something to do it. There's no money to do anything these days. They've spent all the money they can, but didn't spend it on the right things. I don't know what that stone is there. It must be tied of something. One can get into the field and see what it is and see what it is. I would say it's a vault, but it looks like there seems to be writing there. There's stones lying about there too. Sure, if archaeologists were brought in here and did a proper archaeological dig at this field, they might find things that will be of interest. That's the end of the roller film. I suppose if they opened this up to tourists, they would put a railing here, and they'd probably put a railing on the wall. But let me tell you, I didn't think of those things in the 14th and 15th standard. 1500s when the place was built. To describe this place properly, you would need an archaeologist to describe it. What would it cost the taxpayer to clean this place up and make it presentable? as a tourist attraction. But yet not disturb people who are laid to rest here. So that has to come into consideration. One last look at the majestic ruins, because that's all I can describe it as. There would have been places of learning, places of hospitality. People on journeys would have stayed the night in the monasteries, in the guest house. There were no hotels in those days or guest houses, and if people stayed at the guest, were put up for the night and move on in the morning, they were safe from brigands. Because highway business was quite a thing in those days. So the only place you could go for safety was to go to the monastery, and they'd put you up in the guest house. And then everybody came, so most people travelled by boat in those days. And the main source of travelling anywhere was along the river. So here we are at the Swoley River. It's a place of peace and quiet, and just leave it as such. Is all you can do and look at it.